Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Southern Iowa and Papo's Pumpkin Patch. We are going to be doing a construction video here in this video. We are going to be putting up a 30 by 42 hoop barn. The plan is to take you guys from start to finish. Other than the dirt work project, the pad's in. So I got the pad put in. It's a lot of back and forth with skids here. You guys don't want to watch that. But we've started drilling holes. We're going to put those holes in the ground here today. With that, we should have lumber being delivered today. The hoop barn's here. You guys might have seen that in another video where the hoop barn was delivered. We will be constructing the entire thing, and it's going to be for a kid's corn pit this year. So haven't been with you guys here at the patch in quite a long time. The apple trees down here are looking fantastic. The fence is up and hot, but so I'm not going to jump on in there right now. Trees have come along really well. I'm very happy with how they're looking. We'll have to figure things out next year on how to trim them and all that good stuff, but some trees look better than the others. But all in all, I think I'm a tree farmer now. About a week ago, we had some really bad hail come through this area, and it hail and wind. It laid down our sunflowers. So our sunflowers, Molly likes to say, we now have the world's shortest sunflowers this year. But yeah, they're pretty much flat. That's kind of a disappointment. I thought they would stand back up, but they actually, like if you look at it, they're root lodged. However, they're gonna bloom. We'll find one or two places in there that you can get a nice picture with them. Molly's gonna be opening up in the upcoming weeks for like a pick your own flower area. We also have our zinnia patch. They're really just starting to actually flower out now. Looks really darn cool. We've got some paths cut through here so people can come out and walk through the flowers and pick some flowers. Molly has a little area of pro cut flowers over here, so most likely we will end up taking those out in a bounce house. We've got another bounce house for the year. They'll be going in there. The pumpkins are in that pumpkin this year. They're looking kind of rough from the hail. I'm hoping they start to bounce themselves back, but the corn maze looks really darn good. Actually, I had to use my drone to make sure I had all the paths cut, because I realized that I did not have all the paths cut. But anyways, that's where things are looking for us right now. So if we fly over this little pad where the skid steer is sitting, where I'm walking to, that is where the hoop barn is going to be going. The hoop barn is 30 foot of a hoop and 42 foot wide. It's going to be closed in on one wall side and then closed in on the back, and then open halfway on the other wall side, which is hard to just picture, but halfway open on the other wall side, and then one end of the hoop will be open so that when parents are able to actually sit in the hoop barn, they'll be able to look out and view everything. So we're taking on this part of getting the lumber in, and then Kody will be showing up, who sold me the hoop barn, to kind of help us put up everything. It's really supposed to be something that, you know, you should be able to do. You don't have to put it up on timbers like I am. I think there's multiple ways you can set it up. I think Kody will tell you about that. But we're doing this that way people can walk in and out and see out of it and everything along those lines. You know, for hay storage or anything along these lines, you could do it kind of differently than how we are. So that kind of gets us started. I guess that means it's Ty, let's get to work. For those who don't know, this is a hydraulic bit. It uses the auxiliaries on the skid steer. I can just toggle left or right. It makes it putting these holes in the ground way nicer than going by hand. So the holes are 6 foot on center, except for the back wall, they're 10 foot on center. The 6 foot is so that the hoop barn doesn't lift up out of the ground. So we're 6 foot on center everywhere, except for there's a header, so we're 12 foot on center with a header. We're maybe going a little overboard and using 8x8 posts, and then also I'm backfilling it complete with concrete, which you guys will see during this process. We'll talk about a little more about the layout once I get out of the skid steer here. Further back, too far, right there. So what we're doing here is and this could be the wrong thing to be doing, is we're kind of putting some stakes in the ground so that we can use them already to brace the post tomorrow. So layout here real quick, just kind of show you how we did this is Ethan Heron from Heron Home Improvements. There you guys go. He came out and helped me get everything square here. Use these blocks to set the corners. Use the A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Run me a string line, and that's how I was able to load that out. So thank you to Ethan for coming out and showing me how to do that. So the next day here, our lumber showed up this afternoon. We're not going to be doing any real building today, but we are going to get the holes in the ground. That way, Colt's coming to help out tomorrow. We'll have a pretty good force of people tomorrow to work on trying to get everything squared up, and then pour concrete and have the posts set tomorrow. That's bad driving, the goal. Roll it one more time. There you go. I'll show you this here after a second, the whole deal, but we're putting 16 inches of rebar through, which those are those that we cut already, through the post. One going this way and one going the opposite direction, like 90 degrees of each other. That way when we're gonna fill these holes completely with concrete to stop the uplift, those rebars will tie the concrete to the pole. That way if, like say these are kind of green poles or whatever, but say one of them expands, contraction, that way that it doesn't just lift up out of the ground. So it's tying the two together. So the last thing I'll show you on this part of this process is just 9/16 auger bit, chip bit. I think they might call them chip bits. Auger bit, yep, auger bit. And if I get lucky, I didn't hit any holes on the land beam, or I don't hit any holes on the land beam. Nails. So nails on the land beam.
You're putting in holes.
Yes. We'll see you guys in the morning.
Grab on your boards, and I think I'm about there. I just got to get it in the stringage.
Hold it.
Yeah, but the ass bottoms not there, is it? but we're
That'll do.
one in.
Couldn't have done better myself. I'm not a tree hugger, it just looked like one.
Yeah, we're back this morning. We're trying to figure out what we're doing. Colt's with us again today. I got him here to help me because I trust him to work with my brain to get things level. And he's a little more pickier than I am even, so that's a good thing. But we're gonna be setting all the poles today and hopefully getting the concrete poured. And then this weekend we can work on the tin. We're trying to learn as we go here, so when I figure out what we're doing, we'll tell you. But one thing that I did do is I messed up a little bit on a few of the holes. Is the string line is the outside of your wall, if that makes sense. And I didn't mark back where the poles on center were far enough for the string that some of the holes were a little bit tight. So if you saw us having to redig a couple of the holes, so if you're doing this, make sure that like you kind of think about where the post actually goes, and that's where you want to mark the center of your hole, not the basically right on the string line. So little note from there. We're trying to figure out how we can brace this all up and have it all braced up so that when the concrete truck shows, we just pour and tap them in. We'll keep you updated, but probably not a step-by-step thing, because I can tell you one thing and then I've probably completely screwed it up because I told you it wrong. So as we check back in here, we're getting pretty darn close to having all the poles kind of up and being ready to call for concrete. So far, I haven't screwed up anything too terribly bad. The holes I think I talked about earlier, they're off a little bit, but we've been able to pretty well get that situated. So now we are trying to get everything braced up real good, and once we feel like we have everything braced up, we'll call for concrete and we'll have some concrete put in the holes. But you can kind of start to see what I've been talking about, if I've talked about this, is that this is our open span right here. So from these posts where they're on 6 foot backwards, that's all going to be the corn pit area for kids. And then this area here, we'll have some picnic tables. So as you sit in here, you can very easily, you know, if parents are watching multiple kids, very easily see the play activity area. And with the hoop, it should be nice, airy, and open in here, and be a nice place for families to hang out and kids to have fun.
Hey, my eyes are up here.
Did you?
So nailers are 2x6s. The head's gonna be a 2x8. The vase is gonna be a 2x10 green treat. We'll put 10 on the outside of it. So the only tricky part we've got left is the header, the span, that. We're just trying to get this as firm as possible so that when the concrete comes, we can just really like not worry about our posts not going where we want them to.
So we're having another video. Hi guys. Can I have some fries? Yes. No, you don't get any fries.
Should have brought the boombox. Martine McBride, please. Martine
No.
McBride.
Here, bud, I need to tuck to that real quick. We are now ready to actually lift the beam up into place. Like we said, it's gonna go there, there. Pretty challenging little spot of it here. We're ready to go pick a beam up. Yeah, now push it forward to pull.
Here we go. Back forward. Right there, knock that. Maybe back to you. Come my way about an inch. Push it. There you go. Hold on, man. Get this. Back up. Inside. He's a master wizard with that thing. I just want to hop on here and tell you guys I really do apologize for leaving you hanging with Ben and only Ben. On the real note though, sorry, trying to get my things on my pickup. I apologize, but come check out Papo's pumpkin patch. It's at least gonna look like this. Maybe it'll be done, like an actual complete project by the time pumpkin patch season rolls around. But for real, I just want to hop on here and tell you guys hi and see you in a year.
Well, as the sun goes down here, we basically have the lumber part of the project finished. I forgot one bracket. I miscounted for first thing in the morning. Locker's runs, so I got to get another one of those. I still got to chop off the top of those two right there, but I think that might be tomorrow project. So, and then fill a little more concrete in a couple of holes since we were a little short. So yeah, see you guys in the morning. So it's 2 days later here. So yesterday, Molly's dad Rusty and I finished filling these holes with Sackcrete to top them all the way off, and then we went around the top and put the J channel on the top. Colt, Cammy, Molly's parents are going to be on the way back out here. Our goal for the day is to have the tin on and be ready to possibly pull the hoop tomorrow, or put the hoops on and pull the, basically finish everything except for the floor. And the floor won't be in this video. Maybe I'll do it in another video, but I'm just going to spread some lime chips in there this year. That way it can settle, and maybe next year pour concrete under all of it, or probably just the kid pit area. But anyways, goal today, tin, hoops, tarp tomorrow. Let's get to work. To start out though, we have the first thing we got going on is the stripper convention. Not the clothing one, the screw stripper convention going. I was hoping to reuse some of those, but as much as it sounds like I think they're pretty well done. One, two, there you go.
What'd you use, nails or screws?
I use nails with lifting nails. There's much Okay, so a little further forward here, we have the rat trap on, which is self-explanatory what the rat trap is. Cammy, you want to explain what the rat trap is?
Only catches mice. It only catches mice.
Mice?
No rats.
No rats.
But that's on all the way. We're ready to probably do some cuts for the tin and start laying it up. Should go around and then we'll trim it out. Has it got any juice in it?
A little bit, not much.
We might need to call in an order for lunch to the bait shop.
I thought they sold it.
They did, they reopened it.
It's doing good, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
Got what?
go ahead. Okay, so had a bit of a building contractor, me here, is I didn't know what the height in between the two or where our rat trap would end up and stuff like that. So what we ended up with was a little bit of an issue is these were cut to 8, so Rusty's having to cut them all by hand right now because the Sawzall doesn't work. The circular saw doesn't work, so we're now cutting them all by hand and screwing them up and putting them in. It's like, got a lot of screws to grow, but we've only got about 24 feet of actual building, and then we'll have red all the way around the building. Fair enough.
Fingers.
Sorry, my bad.
Beautiful, guys. Nail it. Welcome back. It's about, let's see, we tinned on Sunday. It is now Friday. It has rained basically every day since then. So today we're gonna get the hoops on. Cody's here, which we will chat about a little bit about. He's the one that sold me this hoop barn. We'll chat a little bit about that here in a second. But we're kind of ready to start putting hoops up. What they're doing now is putting the, Cody, what do they call those?
Feet.
Feet, yeah, feet. That's what I would have guessed, but I would have been right. Putting the feet for the hoops in their locations, and then we'll pick them up and set them. How long does it usually take to set hoops on and pull tarps?
If the wind's all right, we can have this whole thing built in about 3 hours.
So will we pull it over with the skid steer? Just throw a rope or something and just pull it on up and over?
Yep, 3 ropes and up and over. Ladder on that back corner, opposite me, and then you'll just walk them onto the. Go forward, Pat.
I go up and then back.
Go forward for a while. Up, forward. There you go, forward. Forward, forward, forward. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. It's coming. Alright. Stop there, clear down, down.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Coming to you live from Papo's Pumpkin Patch, just 2 miles north of the beautiful town of Centerville. They've got a historic downtown. How much cooler could it get? We have now got the hoops up and all the purlins on. So now, basically our next step after we get the rest of these ratchets on, going to pull big tarp up and over that puppy. I gotta say, I don't even know this guy's name. I believe it's Kody. Guy does a fantastic job. Stellar work here. I like it a lot. So stay tuned, we'll be done here soon.
Okay, Kody, tell us what we're doing. Working on the back wall.
Trying to put up an end wall.
So we're on the end wall now.
3 foot.
Trusses are up. This is, we've talked about earlier in the video, there's going to be an end wall on one side, the back side.
Just trying to make you believe in yourself. You're there.
And the PVC pipe is part of the stretching deal from what my extensive knowledge is. So it's part of the stretching deal, and I think we're ready to try and put it up in the air, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Get some rope.
So here we left a gap all the way along the top and around this canvas up to this rafter, so that we can go actually pull it tight down low and then come back and adjust it to where it needs to be up high. That way it's nice and even and looks good. Back it up, Terry.
So the back wall's somewhat up. We got to ratchet down this side and that side. Tarp's laid out. Strings are strung. Ready to pull it over. So we've got it done, and I haven't really introduced him, but this is Kody Wooldridge, right?
Yes, sir.
He sold this hoop barn here. This one's 30 by 42 like we talked about. We'll talk about some of the specifications of it, but you want to kind of give us like some of the sizes that you can get in these hoop barns?
So we can go anywhere from 30 wide to 82 wide. We've got an option for a steel leg. We can mount on posts like this, concrete bin block. It's a heritage structure, so the trusses are made out of Illinois, the canvases are made here in Iowa, and the steel and fabric both come with 20-year warranties. We can go out to 208 feet long on the bigger barns and 360 feet long on the 30 wide barns. It really all just depends on what you guys are using them for, and we can sell them to fit that need.
So what are some of the like features that these canvases have? Like, we can talk about the ends of them and everything like that, and your options that you can have.
Yeah, so every building is going to come with the Conestoga cover that folds over the end trusses, so that way you can seal in your barn. If you wanted color, you can have 6 foot of color on your end caps. So you'll have if you wanted red, you could have a red band that goes on either end of your building. And then if you wanted a solid white or solid red, you can do that as well, and it doesn't change the price of the canvas at all. It's still just a 20-year warranty. So that's how we have it priced out and made to work for the customer. And we try to make sure that all of our buildings are cheaper than the next guy, but still built with the same integrity and the same structural capabilities as everybody else.
So we were talking earlier, and you were saying the majority of the canvases come out of Canada. So his canvases actually come out of the United States. And then what attracted me to a hoop barn was that I was in one, and on a hot day, it's cooler. And you're saying no matter what, if it's hot out, it's 10 degrees cooler, and if it's super cold out, it's 10 degrees warmer. Yep. In the hoop barns. So we can put end walls in. We have one end wall. what you could do completely enclosed. Do you have like any door options or anything like that with your?
Yep, you can, so they don't have to be fabric ends. You can post frame out your walls. You can steel both end walls. You can do overhead doors, or you can do gather doors through us that are fabric doors that just, it comes on a winch system and they crank up. You can do those out to 24 foot wide and as tall as the barn will allow. So all those are, you just post frame those in and you cut out your canvas, and then you got a gather door track that runs everything straight up. Another thing that I figure I might mention, because we've built a lot of them for goats and sheep.
Yep.
So they run off of like a daylight cycle for breeding. And with a white fabric canvas, it still lets enough ambient light in to where it doesn't mess with their breeding cycles at all. So the light that does come through still allows them to go through their correct cycles.
So say maybe a guy wanted to like feed cattle in here and have a bunk. Do you have like a truss option for a bunk that overlays it?
Yep, so we can do however wide you want. So we've got square footage just set aside for however many head you're wanting to run, if they're fats or if they're, you know, cow-calf pairs. And say just like this building here, for instance, how he's got these 2 bays open, we can do that the whole length of the barn. And then on this side of the barn, we can have an eave that kicks out over to keep your feed in the bunks dry, and then you can feed out in here. So this could, you know, you could have 10 pairs in here, and then enough bunk space for all your cows in there.
All those. So you talked a little bit about it, but what are the warranties and everything like this on these barns?
So we've got 20 year on trusses and 20 year on fabric. So if any welds were to snap, or if a seam on your fabric were to rip out, it's all covered, no questions asked. And that's another reason why I like dealing for this company specifically, is because, like, just for instance, on this barn alone, they miscounted their pull pipes, and it was no questions asked. I called him at 9 o'clock last night, and he set everything out for me, and I went and picked it up at 6 o'clock this morning. There's no questions asked. If it's their mistake, they're very good about correcting their issues.
So so this one, since this is a 30 foot truss span, we just got one pull ridge. Like if you get wider, does it become like two ridges or?
Yep, so our 30 wide truss systems are the only truss systems that we offer on 6 foot centers. And the only reason that they're on 6 foot centers is because they are that single tube truss system. They're a heavier gauge steel than most other manufacturers, but if you go up to our 40 wide, anything larger than our 30 wides becomes a double truss system with spider webbing and more structural steel, and we span those out to 16 foot centers. So you won't need as many posts or as big of a header and all that. So like I say, anything larger than our 30 wides becomes a double truss system, just like most commonly used. But these buildings here, they built these ones more stout, so that way it could be cheaper for the lower end customers that could afford it.
That's something I thought about. So like we've talked about, we're on an 8 foot sidewall here, and we did that so that this is open, and now you guys can actually see it. We've set up slide mountain for the year. The parents will be able to sit here and look out and everything like that. But a lot of people put them on like 4 foot sidewalls or something along those lines.
A lot of guys build them on 4 foot pony walls.
Okay, so, and if you're wondering like what you might want for like height, so say you're wanting to put round bales or something like that in there, what you kind of told me, like what's a good way to figure how high up an actual truss bow is?
So I can figure the height of the truss by doing the width divided by 2.5, and that gets me within the foot of your peak height. So, you know, you got 12 foot for your 30 wide, and then he added in his 8 foot sidewall. So he's got a 20 foot peak here. And so you can go anywhere from mounting your buildings flush onto the ground with concrete sonotubes, or you can do concrete stem walls, bin block, wood foundations. You can as high up as you want to go. A lot of county buildings use bin block, and they'll stack them up for like their road salts and stuff like that.
Like say you're thinking, oh, I want to have it, you know, a 40 foot divided by 2.5, you're probably like what, 16 foot tall or something like that. Yeah. If you were to set it on the ground. So then if you do a 4 foot stub wall, you've got a 20 foot arch, and that's up there. So think about that if you're wanting to do it. And this is not a big shed, but it feels really big in here just because of how high up that is. and we don't have trusses legitimately right at 8 foot. So it feels a lot bigger in here than if you were to do conventional. Cost-effective way to get yourself some cover, and it's light, it's airy, it's breathing, and I think that maybe I think that, if I'm saying this, correct me if I'm wrong, the actual technology for hoop barns has come a long ways lately.
A very long ways.
So they're a lot higher quality now than maybe what they used to be 10, 20 years ago.
Cattle barns have really taken a turn.
The cattle barns. So how can people get a hold of you if they're interested in getting any of this stuff?
You can find me on Facebook, Buckholler Farms, or my phone number is 641-218-1770. Just feel free to text, message me, call me, whatever. Any questions, I'll answer them.
And I'll link all that down there in the description. So I think this is nice. If you're going down Highway 5, you're not going to miss this thing. So, all right, this building's done. Time to put some corn for kids to play in it. We'll see you in the next one.